Quantic Media.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the GO4SC2 Cup number 68. We're finally getting started. A little bit of shenanigans going on before we were able to get into this game. Some players were leaving, coming back, so we had to wait for that, but finally we are in the game. Let me go ahead and introduce our two players. In the top right we have the orange Protoss player, RGNFayth. Now that name may look familiar because, well, it kinda should be. He used to be in Root. He went by the name of RootFayth, but recently joined RGNFayth along with VT Spades and a number of other players such as KiwiKaki, Slush, and Phoenix to make sort of the VT A team, for lack of a better term, but definitely a lot of good players on that roster, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what RGNFayth has in store for us. And in the bottom left we have the blue Terran player Candide. Now it's important to note he did spawn in as a random, so Faith actually has no idea what race he is, but of course he will scout him out. First thing, scouting cross position, and we'll find out he is Terran and probably know exactly what to do from there. But a little bit about Candide: he is pretty high up in his Masters League. I think he's top 10. He has 1,539 points, so definitely a very good player. But something interesting to note about that is that was as a Protoss player, and here he's playing random, so I'm not sure if he recently changed, but I'm definitely curious to see what he ends up doing. And as the game gets started, looks like this probe is trying to do some harassment to Candide. Looks like a standard gas timing is going down, so a lot of standard play from Candide at this point. You know, in this map, it is MLG Shakuris Plateau. A lot of people like to take that early expansion by going gasless and then expanding off a barracks. But we also usually see some Reaper expand, some T-Rex expand. So definitely looking to see that early expansion go up because, well, it's pretty easy to defend with such a small ramp. And just a reminder, this is a best of one, I should say. It is round one of the GO4SC2 Cup number 68. So both these players will probably be playing safe. You'll usually only see a player go absolutely crazy if they think they're not favored whatsoever. If they don't have a chance, that's when you start to see the cheeses, and this is a best of one. So if you wanted to cheese, sometimes you can get away with it. It's like a standard cybernetics core going down, as well as a gateway and a gas. So super standard play from both these players right now as of 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. Only a little difference is we have a gas being stolen by RGNFayth. Protoss players will do this to obviously limit the gas intake of the Terran player, and also get some scouting information. So right now, Faith can see the tech lab on that barracks and also sees a Marine shelling out, but he can also see nothing is being upgraded. Actually, now he sees something is being upgraded, so Candide not being candid at all about showing what he is doing. RootFayth, or RGNFayth, I should say, should know exactly what is coming, because what else would be researching there besides concussive shells? And another reason they take this is to limit the Banshee play. A lot of Terran players love opening that cloaked Banshee, and, well, if you steal their gas, it's a lot harder to do. It delays it by quite a bit, which lets you get an early expansion down and get a robotics facility after that expansion rather than before it. Back in RGNFayth's base, also puts down a gateway after that cybernetics core, perhaps a 3-stalker rush of some sort. Both these gateways are going to be able to build a stalker at the same time, and it looks like RGNFayth has enough money to do so, also proxying a pylon over here. So really curious to see what he ends up doing, and our 2 stalkers going to come out of these gateway. Yes, they are. Kona boosting them immediately, so definitely RGNFayth wants to do some sort of early aggression. I would expect him to expand behind this 2-gate, unless he feels there is a vulnerable spot in the Terran defense where he'll probably put down 2 more gateways. It looks like a Twilight Council going down from RGNFayth. This is definitely going to be a Dark Templar rush from RGNFayth, so definitely going to try to hide that. Does not want his Terran opponent to see that tech, and if you can catch the Terran off guard with DTs, you can do a world of hurt, a bunch of damage. Looks like Candide is going to stick with the 2-Rex play, is researching stim on those barracks, so is going for a really early stim, but also is putting down his command center without really pushing out to the middle of the map or doing any pressure. So really interesting play from Candide. Wants to play defensively, does not want to overextend himself. I guess just wants to stick near his natural expansion, make sure that gets up safely. I mean, you'll see a lot of Terran players get these 2 barracks and then try to do some early aggression, but looks like he does not have that in mind whatsoever. And Faith looks like he has 2 stalkers on the field, actually 3. Let me go ahead and open up that units tab. He does have 3 stalkers on the field, 2 of the 4 Marauders and 3 Marines of the blue Terran player, and I gotta think if Candide pushed right now, he could probably do a lot of damage. I mean, 4 Marauders and 3 Marines can definitely deal with 3 stalkers, assuming you don't just move command them into the mineral line or something crazy like that. But Candide, a very good player. I would not expect him to do that, but I am a little surprised he's not doing any sort of aggression. And it looks like Faith is indeed getting that Dark Shrine out, and I feel obligated to lower my voice because, well, Dark Templars can do a lot of damage if they are left undiscovered. It looks like Candide is putting down an engineering base, so if he gets a turret up here, these Dark Templars won't do anything whatsoever, and a turret is coming up indeed. So wow, Candide with some really good star sense. Perhaps he scanned and felt something fishy was going on. I'm looking at his vision. He didn't really see anything that... maybe he saw the double gas. Yeah, he saw the double gas in 2 gateways. So I guess he can kind of guess. And the scan goes down and sees the natural expansion. But at the same time, oh, looks, Dark Templars are coming in. The turret does spot them, and they will immediately flee away. And something else that's interesting to note, a lot of Terrans players have this like built into their standard build. They have this engineering bay planned in their build and this turret so that it can defend from any sort of Dark Templar, because a lot of Terrans are quite simply terrified of that early Dark Templar play, and we'll just put that up every game just to be safe. And honestly, I don't think that's a bad idea, because something else that this turret can do is deflect those early observers from the Protoss player, so you can deny scouting really well. And also it gets your engineering bay up so you can get those +1 armor and weapons upgrades for your infantry, which is incredibly effective early on in the game. Looks like Candide also getting on a factory and back in root face base, putting down a Templar archives. Where is it? Yes, right there. So perhaps we'll be researching that Storm in the near future. Faith, one of those players that gets Storm extremely fast. I mean, look at this. He has 2 Templar, and how many core gateway units does he have? Let me open the Phoenix tab. He only has 3 Stalkers and 2 High Templar. Definitely not a unit composition you will see every day, ladies and gentlemen, here in the GO4SC2 Cup number 68. If you're just now joining us, this is round 1 action in between RGNFayth and Candide, and this is a best of 1. This is game 1. So whoever wins this will move on to round 2. And of course, what's at stake? You're probably asking, why should I watch this tournament? Well, there's a lot of amazing players in it, and they're fighting for a lot of things. If you win this tournament, you get $50 to take home, and you also get a lot of points towards the monthly finals, where the top players from the month play for $200. So definitely a lot at stake. A lot of players play in every single tournament: Sundays, Wednesdays, Mondays, and what weekday am I forgetting? Thursdays. I'm not sure if I said that, but I'll go ahead and say it again. But yeah, free to join this tournament, so I encourage each and every one of you to try and join and try your hand at some tournament action. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good experience, and it's free to join and free to play. And hey, you may get paid at the end if you do well. Looks like Candide getting 2 additional gases, so definitely looking to tech up in the near future. Also putting a starport on the tech lab, so probably some Raven play, which makes a lot of sense considering his opponent went Dark Templar. And we can look at the supply count right now, 89 to 82 in favor of Candide, so definitely a decent lead for the time being. But keep in mind, look at these High Templars from Faith, again, super early, and you know what they can do? Well, they can feed back that Raven, which can make it extremely useless, either one-shotting it or just taking away all of its energy so it can't put down that annoying point defense drone. Looks like Candide also getting +1 infantry, adding on another barracks, so definitely favoring the bio-heavy play. Also getting a Ghost Academy down, definitely wants to do those EMPs, so definitely knows that High Templar are on the field. Again, I'm not sure if a scan went down or if he just reasoned, because usually when a Protoss player goes Dark Templar, it's a safe bet they're eventually going to go High Templar, and Ghosts are just a good unit in general. Of course, those EMPs can do so much damage to your Protoss opponent. I've seen so many games where a Protoss looked good, had about 10 sentries ready to do force fields, and EMPs went down on every single sentry, making 1,000 gas just quite frankly useless. So looks like Candide definitely wants to do some sort of timing push here along with his first Ghost. Something interesting to note, though, does not have Mobius Reactor, which increases the starting energy of Ghost, so he will have to wait a little bit to throw down those EMPs. A DT does try to get by, but is unsuccessful. Was spotted by the turret, and 2 Marauders were laughing inside their bunker as they took that Dark Templar down. Looks like Candide is proceeding across the map with quite a few Marines and Marauders, but ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind, Psy Storms are in effect, and they absolutely melt Marines and Marauders, and of course feedback on that Raven can do a lot of damage as well. So really scared for Candide if he decides to push out right now. Definitely probably wants to wait a little bit for those Ghosts. And interesting to note, he killed a probe that was up here, so what is the probe doing up on the high ground? He may decide to investigate and actually discover these 2 tech structures that are hidden in his natural 4th, I will call it. I mean, I don't know what to call this. I guess this is natural 4th, natural 5th, or no, natural 3rd, natural 4th, natural 5th And so I guess these tech structures are in the natural 5th. I'll just refer to it as that. Looks like RGNFayth is getting a 3rd expansion, and this High Templar, ladies and gentlemen, please do this. If you ever go High Templar, stick them everywhere. They can be really good for drop defense and just good like positioning in general. Like say the Terran player decided to push through this area over here on the right side of the map. If you have a High Templar on the high ground up here, you can just storm down there, and the Terran player has absolutely no idea that it is coming. You can definitely do a lot of damage. And look at this spread from RGNFayth, spreading his units out all the way. Does not want to be caught off guard by any ghosts that, of course, throw down those EMPs that can do so much damage to your Protoss army. So RGNFayth definitely on top of things at this point. It looks like there is a drop, as I just mentioned it. Will a storm go down from this High Templar? It does go down. Will kill 3 of those Marines. This one escapes the storm, probably had a rain jacket on, and this medevac may or may not get away. A Stalker is over here, could take that out. A little bit of miscontrol from Candide right there. Definitely could have gotten that medevac out of there, but it did end up getting killed, and it looks like Faith will add on some cannons along with an additional High Templar. So both of these players approaching 3 bases, approaching the mid to late game. I mean, I'll go ahead and say we're approaching the later game. We don't usually see a lot of these round 1 games, especially best of ones, in the GO4SC2 Cup number 68 go this long. So definitely an incredible game on our hands today. The supply counts are 158 to 158, so definitely even in that regard. Also +2 weapons coming out for our Terran player. Let me look at the rest of his upgrades really quick. Yes, he is 1-1 right now, getting the +2 weapons upgrade. Does he have an additional engineering bay? Yes, he does. So double, I was about to say double chrono boosting because I'm used to that double forge play. No, but the Terran player getting double engineering bay upgrades. Really good play from him. Of course, upgrades are scary. It looks like this medevac will actually spot all of this tech over here on the top side of the map. Finally, if you're just now joining us, this tech has been up there from the very beginning. RGNFayth actually failed a Dark Templar rush and backed up and started producing those High Templars. So really excited to see what these players end up doing. And did he actually, he had to have spotted that. I mean, it's on his minimap, so he will know that is there. And RGNFayth had to have spotted the medevac, so does he have anything back here to defend against that? He does have 1 High Templar. Once again, super important to have that in your mineral line just to defend from those drops. So again, really good play from RGNFayth, but once again, he has some pretty important tech structures in the back of his base right here. So if a key drop can get dropped in the area, in this area over here, he can definitely try to snipe some of those tech structures. And as I say that, killing the Dark Shrine and the Twilight Council immediately. Will he remake that Twilight Council? Yes, he is right in front of this drop. He has a Templar over here. I'm kind of surprised. There's the storm from RGNFayth. Cleans up the majority of that army. 2 storms actually from that High Templar, so those Marines and Marauders will not be able to visit back home because, well, they are dead. Looks like another drop happening in the bottom right of the map. RGNFayth warping in a few Zealots here to deal with this. Should clean up this fairly quickly. Let's look at the upgrades of Faith. 2-2, so really good upgrades from RGNFayth to the 1-1 of his Terran opponent. Looks like both these players are taking their 4th expansions at about the same time, but keep in mind, Candide is taking a 4th and a 5th expansion concurrently, and Faith is only on 4. So Candide definitely trying to get some sort of a supply lead here, but also keep in mind, both of these players are approaching the maxed position, so definitely look to see an engagement in the near future. And look at all of these barracks, ladies and gentlemen. Candide definitely favoring that bio-heavy play. Has about 8 barracks right there and adding on 3 starports. So really intriguing play. This makes me think we're going to see some sort of battlecruiser play. I can really see no other reason to get those starports, so definitely keep an eye out for that. And back in RGNFayth base, we have a robotics bay down, researching thermal lance, and also 3 robotics facilities pumping out those Colossus. So definitely a pretty ferocious death ball is going to be in store for our Terran player from RGNFayth. He's going to have 4 sentries with full energy, a bunch of charge lots, a few stalkers, and quite a few High Templars scattered throughout, along with some Colossus joining in on the fun. And yes, both of these players are approaching max. Actually, 199 out of 200 for Faith, 196 out of 200 for Candide. So definitely looking to see an engagement in the near future. Looks like Candide has some dropships loaded up, so definitely going to look to do some drop play, perhaps go for some multi-pronged harassment, attacking in the front while dropping in the back. And what is happening with these starports? Yes, some tech labs are going down along with cloaks, so not battlecruisers. He's actually going for some sort of mass Banshee play. A very interesting play indeed. Of course, you have to keep in mind High Templars do have those feedback, and with an observer, you can probably do a lot of damage. And does he have any observers on the field? Let me look at the units tab really quick. Wow, no observers on the field from Faith. So this could actually be a disaster for him as Cloak is going down for those Banshees. At the same time, there's a drop coming forward from Candide into the main base of RGNFayth. He has absolutely nothing here to defend.